To my young men, especially those between 16 and 25, I want you to ask yourself one simple question, and you need to be completely honest with yourself. How did you create your identity? Was it through habits you intentionally set up? Was it through routines that you made? Or was it through your favorite rappers, your college frat bros, your job that you miserably hate, or maybe even social media? You see, most of us did not create or build our own identity. We've actually just absorbed one. And look, I've struggled with the exact same thing. The identity crisis that young men face today, I lived it completely. You see, when you don't have your own identity, you go and blend in with everybody else, just picking little things from them. You start to walk like other people. You start to talk like other people. You start to even get your own values from other people. I mean, just take a quick look around. You never ask yourself, is this who I want to be? You start to ask yourself, is this what I will get accepted for? And it's horrible. It's horrible because you never take a moment to actually see if this is who I want to become. I mean, we got guys now looking up to rappers, trying to go in and afford clothes that they know they can't afford. We have guys who want to be thug, want to be gang members, want to be about that life. You're not about that life. You're not. We have real guys who have struggled in certain areas in their life where they were forced to get into gang violence, where they're forced to be gang members. But the ones who are just pretending because they don't know how to have their own identity are the ones who are struggling. They're struggling deep down. They start to talk like them. They start to be fake hood. They start to get in problems that they shouldn't be in, all because they don't know how to accept themselves for who they are. They don't know. They don't have that comfortability. They don't have that, vulnerability to just accept being themselves. Just be you. Be you. You don't have to be that fake gang member. And let's get away from the gang talk. Let's talk about something else that's been a real issue. The frat life and the frat brotherhood. We've got guys walking around having to get hazed, I've heard something called an elephant walk, and if you know about any of these things, about hazing, all this stuff, it's absolute BS. I mean, you got guys wanting to stick their thumbs out somebody else's butt just to get accepted as a brother, get accepted as one of us. How down bad and how miserable are you inside to have to do these things just to get accepted as one of us, as a brother? Dude, be you. You don't need these guys. You don't need anybody else. Be you. You know you can survive without them. Why not do it again? Why not do what you've done for many years without them and repeat that again? Like, we have kids going out of nowhere, out of their way just to get accepted into these fake brotherhoods or these fake fraternities or these fake ways of feeling accepted, that they can't just sit down and ask themselves the question of, is this who I want to be? Or maybe it's not even about the gang life or maybe even about the frat life. But if you're a little older and you're actually, locked in a little more, you actually know what you want and you have a stable career, but the job you work at, you absolutely hate, you're absolutely miserable there. Look, if you're absolutely miserable there, figure out why you're miserable there. Figure out why you absolutely hate and despise showing up to the spot you're showing up for about 8 hours each day. I mean, you can't simply just go about hating your life, hating who you are because you work a certain 9-to-5 job or you work at a spot that you actually hate. Look, most of us just haven't asked ourselves, why am I doing the things I do? And is this who I want to be? And is this who I want to be for the rest of my life? And I want to be clear, I'm not speaking down to the men with real responsibility, because some of you have families, some of you have kids, and you don't get the luxury of just walking away. But I'm going to say something that a lot of people won't say out loud. Responsibility should never come at the cost of your own identity. I'm going to say that once again. Responsibility should never come at the cost of your own identity. Because look, providing is honorable, but losing yourself to it is not. And a lot of people didn't get to where they're at intentionally. They just got pushed into it. Some of you had to go get a job. You guys got kicked out. Some of you absolutely needed a job just because you needed to provide. But I'll say some of you are just stuck in survival mode, calling it being a man. But if you are remembered by your kids as being numb all the time, as never being able to actually do anything with them, being too tired, always, getting angry and spreading that energy around the whole house, because once you get upset, you shut down and everybody has to shut down with you, that's an issue. And it's an issue that started way before that job ever happened. So that's something that you need to sit down and really think about. Because yeah, your family might need your paycheck, but what they need more is your presence, your standards, your clarity, you guiding them to a better way. That's what they need from you. And it's disappointing that most men don't even know how to become that man. See, they were never taught by the school system, by society, not even by their own parents. So they spend their lives just picking and choosing from their environment, seeing whose identity they can steal from next. And that's why their habits never stick. It's not because you're not disciplined. It's not because you're not motivated. It's not because you don't want it badly enough. It's simply because you're trying to live like the man you haven't become yet. Every Monday you try again, new routine, new plan, new way to attack the week. And then right when it hits Friday, you're back to where you started. That doesn't mean you're broken. It means your identity and your actions are misaligned. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall back to the level of your identity. If you don't see yourself as a disciplined man, your discipline will always fall. If you don't see yourself as a man with standards, your standards will always get crossed. And if you don't see yourself as the man who keeps promises to himself, your promises will always break. So it's not about that you lack motivation. You lack that identity. You lack that actual structure. That's where you need to put your most efforts into. And here's the part that changes everything. Identity isn't built by just thinking about it and analyzing about it. Identity is built by taking repeated, uncomfortable decisions. Most men avoid discomfort like it's the plague or something. You need to get so comfortable being uncomfortable that getting in those moments where you feel fear, where you feel anxiety, where you feel stress, those uncomfortable moments, those are the ones that lead you to the man you want to be. You see, I've read this quote by Hermosi that says, fail, but fail forward. You don't ever want to fail backward. And let me just explain that. Failing forward is failing and learning from that. You see, you can only fail. Failure, honestly, is a state of mind. Failure is a state of mind. If you believe you failed, then you failed. But if you fail and then learn, is that really failing? Or is that just, okay, I did this, I got X result, now I know X result, now I could do this to get Y result and learn from that and just brush that away. Failure is just a state of mind. You got to understand that. So away from that, I got to say, stop avoiding discomfort, because comfort only feels good for a few minutes, few hours, few days, but then it goes back. You wonder why you still feel empty inside? It's because comfort doesn't build respect. Discomfort does. Choosing what's hard over choosing what's easy, such as waking up at the time you said you were going to wake up, going to the gym like you said you were going to start going to the gym, saying yes to the things that align with where you're going, and then also saying no to the things that don't align with where you're going. All those things don't feel heroic, and sometimes they feel boring, sometimes they feel tiring, sometimes they feel like draining, but these are all those uncomfortable moments that later shape your identity, and that's why they're so important to step into. You need to stop running from these moments and step into them. And what's funny, when you choose discomfort, you don't look to the rappers, you don't look to the frat brothers, you don't even look to your own job to create who you are. You look at those little inputs from the moment you wake up, from the time that alarm rings, to what you need to do throughout the day. You look at those tiny little inputs that you can actually manage on your own and control on your own to later create who you are and to create that character years after you've been doing this for repeated amounts of time. You take those uncomfortable, repeated steps every single day, and focus on what you have to get done. All right, I'm going to leave you guys off with that. I want to thank you all for staying subscribed, leaving a like on the videos. And if you haven't followed me on Instagram, it's Edwin Escorcia-Mora on all platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everything. So if you want to see more daily content on just young men, self-improvement, and everything like that, go follow me on those platforms as well. But boys, remember, if you can't sacrifice for your dreams will become the sacrifice. I'll see y'all, and I love y'all.